back, everyone. Welcome back to another Whiskey with TDV. As you guys can see, we've got the lighting equipment set up. We have load shedding actually. So we thought, well, since we have load shedding, we might as well just do a shoot real quick. Have a whiskey and do a shoot. So we actually have a brandy, another brandy. Last time we had Clip Drift and Cola. This time we have a Clip Drift Premium with water. So straight to the topic, bro. Something that I felt, it bothers me so much, and I always tell people this, right, is that universities are overrated and they are financially a scam. Universities and colleges, to be specific, right? But in all honesty, there's some colleges that I feel are really doing the most in what they do, right? So we are going to mention a few. This is personal perspective. If you have a different view, you're welcome to drop a comment, right? So the number one thing, bro, that I felt, the reason I feel it's a scam, and it's overrated, right? Let's look at some of the top universities in, so we're in Johannesburg, so let's look at Wits, right? One of the top universities, in fact, not just in South Africa, in the world. It falls in the top universities, right? But let's also look at their fees, So they have those crazy ass fees. It's 50K, obviously depending on what you're studying, right? You can have 50, 60 to 100K per annum, right? So for 1 year, that's how much you're paying, and you still have to buy your textbooks, right? And you still need to get your equipment. So if you, for example, if you're an architect, you need to buy your architecture equipment. It's not provided by the university, right? So number one, you're paying 100K, then you're still paying like another 20K extra for the equipment. So now it's 120 a year, right? Obviously the price increases every year. So when you're paying 120 this year, you're paying 130 next year, right? So the one point that I feel people need to know is that although you're going to such prestigious universities, what happens when you're done? Are you guaranteed a job? And such universities like Wits, they're very good at the medical field, they're very good at the medical field. However, other sections, I don't think that they focus a lot on that. And so a lot of those people, if I go to Wits to study business science, right, I know that I'm not guaranteed a job afterwards. Whereas the college I went to, they now, what they promise is, in part of their T's and C's, is to assist you post your degree to get a job. So they will send you a whole bunch of different industries that you could work at, right? Depending on your degree, obviously. So a university that's so prestigious and a college that's, yes, it's private, but the fees are way less, and we still guaranteed an opportunity afterwards. So how do you feel about the whole situation, bro? Do you agree that it's overrated, a university is overrated, and colleges are underrated?
Guys, it's doing so good. Tell you something about Romeo, guys. This nigga's been preaching this shit since I don't know when, guys. So it was actually fitting that we actually have this conversation over, a very nice bottle. So here's my thoughts, guys. Sorry, wrong more. Here's my thought. See, the thing for me, bro, is that I think you need to get. I'm not against Wits or UJ or UCT or whatever. I'm not against, because remember, I want us to take like a step back, bro. You know what I mean? And just look at the broader picture, in the sense that remember, universities, right? They were first started, or rather, they became popular in demand because remember, companies used to take people straight out of high school and give them in-service training for whatever they needed to do in terms of the job requirements, right? But obviously, every industry changes, there's trends and whatnot, so it became costly for them to keep training the people. So that's why they listed the help of universities, to encourage kids to, that's where this whole narrative came on, is you go to secondary, to my primary school, secondary, tertiary, and then you go get a job. But then it's also, history is repeating itself and it's becoming outdated again. That's why graduates are studying all these fancy degrees, but they don't get jobs. Understand? So my thing is, the reason why university exists is to add on to the academic knowledge that exists. That's why there's thesis, there's dissertations, there's your PhDs and masters and all these things. So you go to university, you start as an undergraduate, you get all these all these tools that are given to you, and then you can go into your masters and PhDs, and then you actually add on to the existing knowledge.
Yeah.
That's why it's called a research institution. But the problem is now people go to the narrative that has fucked everyone over is that a university is the only way, or it's the best way to make a living for yourself.
Yeah, I like that one, the best way.
The best way, and that's not the truth, bro. You don't have to go to university to make a living, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, at my house, bro, my dad has I don't know how many mechanics.
And
these niggas, they take engines and they strip them apart and they can fix this and that and build them back together and mount it back. One man, dog. You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, that's a different level of skill set that the average South African, I can't even fucking fix my alternative.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, bro.
You know what I mean? So, but he didn't go to university. So a mechanic, you just understudy someone and learn for them. So what I'm trying to say is that we need to change the narrative that going to university is the only way to make a living for yourself, bro. So also this thing of looking down upon colleges, bro.
Yeah.
Also, because remember colleges, the thing about colleges is nice is that colleges they very, very flexible, especially these new colleges. They have a lot of online shit, they have a lot of specialized degrees in, in these like media studies or
the fields and so forth.
You know what I mean, right? So that's just my thought, bro, is that I think we need to, because university, it's also, one might argue that statistically speaking, if you do have a particular degree from this, university, you can still stand a higher chance of getting employed.
Yeah.
And some companies obviously do prefer you have this particular degree from this particular university.
Yes.
I'm not disputing that, but we're just saying that in this day and age, you've been dealt, it's like a poker game, you've been dealt a bad hand.
Yeah.
And people have been saying like, nah.
And that stigma is still there.
It's still there, bro. I mean,
on the stigma of looking down on colleges, bro. Like I was saying in the beginning, is that universities, the reason I feel they're so overrated, bro, is because we have friends, who have gone through university and, they have a great degree behind their name, but they're struggling to get the job. Why? So although the stigma was, go to tertiary and then get a job, we're not getting the jobs. There is no jobs to get. Okay, well there is, but we're not getting them.
You're not getting the jobs.
Right? I've seen with some colleges, they literally give you every week, either every week or every second week, you'll get an email saying there's this job opportunity, blah blah blah, pay at this rate, you have to have studied this or whatever the case is. And I find it amazing, bro, because that means that the college, that small college that's looked down upon, right, has partnered with companies to be able to provide you a job, right? And it's their promise. If a college can promise you a job as part of the T's and C's, it's a great college, And not to look down upon Wits, but people I know who have studied through Wits, they don't have jobs. Well, some of them don't have jobs, and they're still struggling. But why go through this learning tool, whereas there's people who are mechanics and they haven't gone through learning tools. They've gone through trial and error.
I don't even see something, Shamar.
I think it depends on what you want to study though. Like, let's be honest. You can't go trial and error with someone's arm as a doctor.
Yeah, no. So obviously, the field is very particular.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at like doctors, lawyers, accountants, those professions that you can open up, those professions you can't afford to make a mistake, right? There's no trial and error on someone's heart, on your place in the heart.
Yeah.
In a court of law, there's no trial and error. This guy's going to jail or he's not going to jail, right? Accountants, you're either saving me $1 billion or I'm losing $1 billion. What's happening here? So those type of professions, obviously you can't, count them in. But I'm saying, like, if I go to a UJ to go study business science or business management, am I going to get a job after that? Because that's a skill that you learn, but you can't really apply it unless you're in a business, right? You can't go and, some of the stuff you've learned, that's SWOT analysis. You can't just apply it for nothing, bro. You gotta have a business that you want to apply it to. you know.
True, yeah.
So the thing is, if you don't have the opportunity to apply it, what's the use having the degree?
That's true. Yeah, bro. That's why I said, in my opinion, the way I look at it is that the university, the core reason is to actually add to the academic knowledge, that exists, not necessarily to. Obviously, yes, like I said, because that's what a lot of jobs nowadays want. They want you to have some kind of degree, of which you can obviously get at a college, but also at a university. The bigger picture is that, man, almost every single industry that's catered for by a university with a particular degree, there is no more jobs there. So let me just say, like engineering, accounting, law. I want to say medicine because our healthcare department is just fucked up.
It's a waste, bro.
So those things, they already saturated, bro. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the problem is that these universities and some colleges, they still continue to offer these courses, knowing very well that it's going to be difficult for some people to get jobs because there's already a saturation in that market.
Yeah,
so
and it's outdated as well.
It's outdated, you understand? So, and also my thing is, the beauty of a college, I personally feel, is that the adaptability. I feel like a college can easily change the curriculum, to match a particular trend. Whereas university, I feel like it's a bit more. There's a lot of like bureaucracy involved, and it takes time and all those things. So by the time you finish your 3 or 4 year degree, I mean, what have you? I mean, you've heard, corporate people say the transition from undergrad to the actual workplace. That's the biggest challenge. People can't turn.
Some people are book smart. Some people are, are able to apply.
You understand? So the theoretical, changing from theoretical to practical. That's why internships, I feel, are that bridge.
Yes.
But sometimes it's still not enough. You understand?
100%.
So my thing is like, I feel like universities and colleges, both, or let me say the private and the public sector in terms of education, they need to work hand in hand. Like to obviously make sure that all these things, bro, are up to date with the standards, bro.
Yeah.
That's just my thing,
Yeah.
Like I'm not like, obviously people are still gonna go to Wits, because they're still, like I said, statistically speaking, it's still the best shot, for a lot of people,
Yeah.
But we cannot deny that there's hundreds and hundreds and thousands of graduates that are sitting on BComs, BScs, Masters, PhDs, In fact, imagine a PhD student getting fucking exploited, bro.